talk lead magnet. And yeah, Janetta, you hop off when you need to hop off. Yeah, I've got to call it 11 anyway. So lead magnet is a way for people to spend time with you, which is very, very low entry, hence being a lead magnet. Something that leads people say, oh yes, that's amazing. I'd love that. And that's what will inspire them to then click on a link, download something, listen to something, watch something. Or again, the reason the scorecard works so well is because people get instant gratification. They get a mark, they get a result, and it is unique to them. So the reason people love it is because they're doing an assessment, go, oh, where am I here? Am I this? And at the end, they get this beautiful score, which is individual to them. Then they get a report, which is full of insight. That's why the scorecard is such a good lead magnet. Our online assessment is such a good lead magnet. Other ones, of course, include ebooks, are good lead magnets. Video series is a good lead magnet. A chapter from video series, like a free video series that people can watch, is a good lead magnet. The challenge with lead magnets is there's a lot of them. So ebooks, right? Great. Even if it's a well-written ebook, you're still relying on them to read it, to do something. So a report is a good, like a 4-page report or a 4-page insight, something that's quick, still adds value, but then leads people to the next natural step. So it's a way to build up your time with them. They get something of value at very low cost or no cost. And then it inspires them to carry on with you. So, we have a range. We have the ultimate presentation checklist, which is great for any speaker or anyone that's using speaking. Why? Because it carries what equipment you need, what questions to ask event organizers, how to set your fee. Like, it's 4 pages. So when we gave that at one of the summits, 30 people downloaded it, right? Because that's what everybody who's thinking about speaking wants. Loads of people did the scorecard. Why? Because they want to know where they are as a speaker. What is their mark? So they can work well. The thing with a lead magnet is the follow-up. So you'll get lots of people, like you can put a lead magnet out now, spend £100 on a Facebook campaign, and you will get people downloading it. What you need to think of is post the download. That's the clever part. Like, what comes next? How do you pull them in without losing them? And that's the thing with lead magnet. But lead magnet can be an ebook, a PDF download, a report, video series. A chapter from your book's great. The only time I would give a chapter from your book is if you want them to buy the rest of the book.
What if I read it, audio read it?
Again, yeah, that can work. So it's like, download my free audio when I read one chapter from my book. That can work. Again, for me, that would be to get people to buy the rest of the audio. So it's got to sequentially make sense to where you want to lead people. Test it. The key word with marketing and lead magnets is test. Split test it. Do one that sells the book, one that gets people to book a call with you. And that's what you've got to go on, is the data that it provides. I mean, what was it? I think it was when I was doing my coaching stuff, I literally did a lead magnet. I think I put very little money into it, and I was like, I got 100 downloads. Woo. But from that, I got nothing. So there's 2 different things to look at. One, how qualified were the people downloading it? B, how good was my lead magnet? Right? So there's various moving parts here. I mean, now a lot of the stuff we do is a lot better because obviously it's quality checked before it goes out there. Your book is a lead magnet, right? It's a lead magnet. As much as we'd love it to be a Harry Potter and sell millions across the world, or to be the next chicken soup for the soul, by all means, I hope it is. But for most of us, it's a lead magnet. It's something you give so people get to know you. and therefore decide to do more with you. So that's why Speak, Influence, Sell, for those of you who have read it, while it adds huge value, I believe it does, and the feedback is it does, it's a lead magnet. It's to get people to go, let me check them out. Let me meet them. Let me check out their online stuff. You know, that's really what it's a big calling card. So whatever you decide to integrate or use, you've got to make sure A, you can fulfill it, and B, that it's an easy, natural step for the person to take with you.
So Elliot, the online assessment that you have on your website, who set it up for you?
Well, painfully, we had one guy do it who was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The new guy we've brought in has come and taken it to another level. So he's completely rejigged it. He's designed it to capture data at every single stage, which is brilliant, because it will do two things. It will let us know when people drop off, if they drop off, and why they drop off. And therefore we can look to create, this is what I'm saying, it's the follow-up afterwards. So we could then create a whole engagement campaign going, hey, Janetta, we noticed you dropped off after, you know, do you have a product to sell? Do you need help building a product? So there's like, you can tailor according to what happened. But of course, according to the score, they'll get different emails according to their biggest challenge, right? So we're talking directly to that person and where their biggest challenge is. So that's what he's come in and done. It's absolutely brilliant. Let me work with him for a while before I recommend him. But so far, what I'm seeing him do, but he's also tagging everything, where they come from. It's just the data it's going to provide is going to be great. It also will drive what content I create moving forwards. So if I have 100 people, the top 3 challenges are confidence, selling, and profile, right? Let's bang out loads of content about that, right? If I have 1,000 people, you start to look at the trends you see, and then you create content. So that's why that's such a good tool. So it broke my heart because less than 6 months ago, we spent 2,000 euros building the first one. And now we're building up completely, well, we've taken that and he's just made it that much better. Whether the guy that did it before would have done that we never asked for that, to be honest. So it's not a reflection of the guy that built it first. Yeah, so that's why that's such a good tool, because people do. But you know, if you know your audience really well, Julia, then you might know that they like audio. You might know they prefer videos. This is where getting to know your avatar is really important. I'll give you another example, and then I'll show you. I worked with a woman in the States a couple of years ago, and she was working with someone else. And there's someone else, and basically this one was a personal trainer, but she focused on the 65 plus market. So she was like keeping 65 plus healthy, moving, and fit. Yeah, great audience. And they also had disposable income. A lot of them, you know, but she didn't know that. So she said, oh, I was working with this coach, and they said, you know, what I'll do is I'll do a webinar, and then I'll lead them to a form, and then I'll sell them this. I was like, okay, one question. How many 65-year-olds plus do you know for a fact watch or listen to webinars? Because I don't. That's what the coach told me. I'm like, well, you're going to spend a lot of time building a webinar that no one might even see, right? Okay. And I'm like, how do you know they're going to like or even go online to do what you want to see or what I want? She goes, I don't. Well, why don't you ask them, right? So she did a survey. And she asked, I think it was 20 of her potential clients, current clients, past clients, some questions. And here's what came out at the time. This is 2 years ago. They all had the $100,000 a year in income per person. So they had the money. 2, pretty much 95% of her market still watched DVDs and did not go online for information And I think it was such a tiny percentage, even, I mean, they knew what webinars are, but it wasn't in their thing, right? So guess what? She then changed her whole strategy on how to pull them in. So instead of going for a webinar on a form, she actually recorded a DVD series, which she then posted, a very low cost DVD series, which then allowed her to get in the door, which then at the end of it got her more bookings, more speaking gigs, and more invitations to speak at very wealthy care homes in America, a very, very, you know, and then she was the go-to person for personal training.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. For myself, I'm inclined still to do something audio, whether it's podcast form, whether I'm not quite sure what form, but I feel, yeah, then I need to figure out what to do, right?
Yeah, look, audio's great, right? Because again, our relationship with audio's changed. People listen to things on the train, in the car, when they exercise. Huh?
While washing up.
While washing up, right? So now, thanks to this, we highly, our relationship with audio products has shifted because it's no longer a CD player, and we listen to more and more. I'm not saying don't do an audio, just make sure it's something that your ideal audience would appreciate and it would enroll them to do more. And of course, as you grow, why have one? Have audio, have video, have an ebook, have this as you grow. So by all means, do something audio. Oh my God, I was going through some, because I've done so much recording that I've got no memory. And I was clearing out, and I found
memory or computer memory.
Well, I've got no computer memory. I'm not sure. That's another matter. My other memory, but I found some really, really old tracks, and I listened back. I'm like, OMG, I might play this. It's terrible. Just the intro alone is so bad. But the content's really good still. It's all about being a peak performer and your emotional pain matrix, and it's really great stuff. When I was the coach with the hat. But just the intro is just awful, but you start somewhere, right? And I actually got that online, and I bought the domain, and that was going to be one of my kind of intro products. It's called beapeakperformertoday.com, and it had all these recordings, and I sold one. So the whole time was up there. Eventually, we just pulled it offline. But you know, you got to start somewhere. So what I would do is I'll start with something audio. It can be a chapter for your book. It could be a summary of various exercises people can do, or you know, how to tackle things. Like a lot of meditation apps work really well is because people can do them on the go, right? They put their earphones and they do them in the train. Something to think of. You have a great meditation, great grounding technique, again for you, Andrew, that people can listen to as they're, and then it's like, if you like this, I'd like to invite you to reach out to me to discuss how we can do more of this together at the end of it.